man approached a Little League baseball game one afternoon. He asked a boy in the dugout what the score was. The boy responded, head down, 18-0. We're behind. Boy, said that spectator, I'll bet you're discouraged. Little boy looked up at him and said, why should I be discouraged? We haven't even gotten up to bat yet. I've been thinking about this story for several days now. Watching the Rangers advance in the playoffs has kept my interest in baseball alive just a little bit longer. My father is a diehard Yankees fan. I am not. So, not being from Texas, I can't pledge a lifelong loyalty to the Rangers. Being from the Midwest, we really don't have a baseball team that we're real proud of either. But I love anybody who could beat the Yankees. I love my father, but that's one area of disagreement for us, baseball. So, it's kept this story about the boy in the dugout alive in my mind. And I wonder, if I were to pick a character from that story, would I be, and they were to represent me, would I be that man, or would I be that little boy? Would I look at that score on that sign and get discouraged? Or would I see an opportunity? I wonder. What about you? How do you read the score in your own life today? Is your cup half full? Or is it half empty? How do you view life through your lens? Today's scripture lesson comes from the book of Jeremiah. And Jeremiah, like most prophets you will encounter in the Old Testament, was a warning voice to the people. Okay, he told them things that they really didn't want to listen to. When Jeremiah opened his mouth and he showed up in your town, you ran and hid. You did not want to hear a thing he had to say. It just wasn't exciting, happy speech very often. But sometimes, on very rare occasions, like in today's passage, for example, he offered hopeful news. At that time in history, about 2,600 years ago, the city of Jerusalem had been captured by the Babylonian Empire. And a great many people were forcibly removed from their homeland and taken to Babylon as captives and slaves. The world that they lived in was a place of conflicting emotions. They experienced confusion and fear and despair, but also joy and hope. Do any of those emotions sound familiar to all of you? 2,600 years later, just like the exiles did in the time of Jeremiah, we all wrestle with those same emotions, don't we? In spite of fear and the troubles that they faced, those people, those exiles, were still sometimes able to look ahead with hope. Strangers in a foreign land, kind of like me right now, were able to cling to hope that God's promise of a new covenant would bear fruit. We live in challenging times, don't we? We experience those emotions. We run the gamut every day. We get confused, at least I get confused sometimes, by just the sheer volume of information that gets thrown in every single day my way. The internet, the newspaper, TV, turn something on and you'll get hit with something, am I right? Every one of us experiences that. Just a massive volume of information every day. That's confusing. And we can be fearful too, can't we? We can fear the loss of a job, missing an opportunity. Maybe just the fear of not knowing what the future holds for us when we get up in the morning. And we do experience despair. Times in our lives when fear becomes real. The opportunity passes by, the job is gone, the bills are late. And all we want to do is crawl back under the covers and completely ignore any and all thoughts about what's coming in the morning. But we feel joy, don't we? When a child is born or baptized, at weddings of family or friends, with every birthday party, Christmas season, maybe even that simple cup of morning coffee, just as the sun is coming up, that's seasoned with just the right amount of cream and that perfect little pinch of sugar. We do know joy in this life. And we know hope. That warming sensation inside of you. Sometimes a soft little glow. Sometimes a white hot blaze that just burns within us. It's me right in here. It feels like the light of the afternoon sun on our back. Or maybe the wide, welcoming smile we receive when we visit with an old friend after a long time away. To practice hope is to look forward in faith, with trust and confidence that things will turn out, no matter what, for the best. Hope is grounded in more than just distant goals or dreams. It's not just a sugar-coated, idealized, big-screen movie-style vision of what we want the future to be. No. It is foundational. To look at the future, hope understands the past and the present. Calera United Methodist Church has a history of living out faith. Right here. You do. In this building. For example, when I first got to learn about you, about the people here in this place, I went to your website. And I learned that in 1948, members of your congregation physically, literally moved this sanctuary, as I understand it, from Texas to this place and rebuilt it here on this ground. Entirely or primarily, members of this congregation giving of their time in love for this church. That's faith. 28 years later, y'all did it again. You yourselves added on the fellowship hall to this church. And just 4 years ago, you undertook a 3-year project to build the Family Life Center. That is a tremendous resource. That is the first thing we saw when we pulled up to have supper and meet with you all on September 27th. And it just blew our minds. That's sitting right here. It has great promise for this community. And it was built entirely through your hard work and your dedication. That, my friends, is faith. That is really something. Looking to the future in hope means understanding how we arrived where we are right now. From what I've seen of this congregation's past and at present, I am impressed.